Alright, so I'm in my kitchen. This is the RF radiation reading in my kitchen. Alright, we're going to go into the hall. This is the RF radiation reading in my hall. Alright, I'm going into my dining room. I'm just going to put the camera like this as I go into my dining room. Alright, this is the RF radiation reading in my dining room. I haven't been able to eat in my dining room because the radiation here is so high. I would be sitting right here at this chair. Now what I started to do, instead of eating in the dining room, I would put the table and chair here in the hall. And I would eat here in the hall with my brother. And starting today, the RF reading in the hall, this is where we would normally eat, started being very high. In the beginning, when I first put the table here, we could eat here. But then the RF readings started getting really high, so we couldn't eat here in the dining room. And this is the hall. This is right where we would eat, right here. This is the RF radiation we would be subjected to in the hall. There's nothing in the hall except my brother's wheelchair, and I have his chair that I put in the bathtub when I give him a bath. Alright, so this is where we would normally eat, and for a while it was good, but then this has started happening. The RF radiation got really, really high. All right, I'm going to go into the living room. So then, instead of eating in the hall, we started eating in the living room, where the RF radiation reading was less until today. We started eating on this little white table. Now that's low, because I tried to sit on this table with my computer today, and the reading was really, really high. This does not indicate what it was. It was really high. So what I did was I put my computer over by this window to see if I could use, and it's still here, if I could use the computer here by the window. Now this is showing low. The RF reading was so high here that the tingling vibration in my body actually started upsetting my stomach because the reading was so high. Now, you have to understand, when you're a government gang stalking target, there's total surveillance. What I say in my home, they know. I don't know how they know, but they know. And I know that because of the fact that I would say things, and then I would go out into the community, and people passing me by would say things. Exact same thing. And so I know that they listen to what you say in your home. Right now, they know where I am. They know what I am saying. All right, this is ridiculous because it was not this low, and I was just at my computer. And my stomach was actually being upset. The level of RF radiation was so high. All right, let's go back. Let's just go from room to room again. All right, so this is where I set the white table, and we would sit at this white table because this was for a while the only place where the RF radiation level was lower. And the reason that is this is actually an extension on the back of the house that they expanded. It used to be a bedroom, they expanded it, and they made it into a living room. And so for a while, I could sit here with my brother at this table, and the radiation level, RF radiation level, would not be that high. Today that ended. There's no place in my house that I could sit that has a lower RF radiation level. Right now, let's go. I was awakened this morning in my bed, and I sleep in the living room. It's actually a one-bedroom house. My brother sleeps in the bedroom. I sleep in the living room. But I was awakened this morning by microwave radiation, by tingling vibration in my body. All right, so we're going to go into the hall. This is where I had the table set up. I had a table set up right here because the RF radiation was so high in the dining room that we couldn't eat in there anymore. And so I would set it up right here. You see an orange wire? That's leading out to something that I have in the front of my house, and that is my protest against my not being able to live in this house without suffering the tingling vibration of microwave radiation. I have a neighbor that I believe is causing this, very close to my house, and they have to be close to your house, or in other words, it has to be coming from like a wall attached to yours, and I do have a house attached to mine. There could be a remote in a house close to the house attached to mine. Now, of course, we should have an investigation because this is an assault. This is a physical assault on me that has been ongoing to physically harm me and maybe to kill me with microwave radiation. To me, it's mainly microwave radiation because the symptom of that is tingling vibration, and that's the symptom. But it's also been pain. When they first started targeting me, they targeted me in my breast. They targeted me in the back of my head. My TSH level soared when I went to the doctor, and it stayed pretty high. All right, so this is where we were eating. We were eating here until the RF radiation got so bad that we couldn't eat here anymore. All right, and this is our dining room where we used to eat. But the RF radiation here, and you could see it really spiking, the RF radiation here was so high that I couldn't eat while my body was tingling in vibration. Just kills your stomach. Can't do it. So we stopped eating in the dining room. And we started eating in the hall, which was good for a while. But then it started spiking here. And when we couldn't eat in the hall anymore, yesterday we started eating, might have been the day before yesterday or yesterday, we started eating in the living room. Actually, I had the table here initially. That level is not, all right, so the thing went off. Let's see what we